Welcome to Master Mindset. Reframe your thinking, master your mindset with Nate Schooler and Kim Adele.
Okay, so I'm thrilled to today have the pleasure of being joined, as well as the lovely Nate, by the lovely Tushar Kansal. And I couldn't do justice to your introduction. You did it so beautifully earlier. So I'm going to hand over to you, if that's okay, Tushar, to share with us a bit about who you are and your journey so far.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Nate. Thank you for having me. I'm Tushar Kansal. The company's name is Kansaltancy Ventures. I am actually an engineer. I'm an MBA finance from Delhi University, and I also did my executive education from Harvard Business School. In my previous life, I've worked for 4 corporates, companies like private equity practice at Deloitte and Touche, also India's largest venture capital fund by the name Brand Capital, largest by the number of deals it does, and also headed treasury at the Russian telecom company MTS India, which is a $3 billion treasury, and raised almost $2.5 billion for them as debt in 3 years, and was CFO with the Distribution Logistics. That's a company owned by Guggenheim Partners, the American PE fund. In the last 8 years, I manage my company, Kansaltancy Ventures. I am an investor personally in 4 companies, but we help venture capital funds get access to capital, raising their funds, and we also help startups get access to venture capital. In the last 7-8 years, would have met more than 2,500 startups, and I'm closely related to more than 300 venture capital funds and global investors. So happy to be here, and thank you, Kim, and thank you, Nate, for inviting me.
Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I know we sort of all struggle in life, right? So I know you recently sort of recovered from COVID, yeah. So over the years, were there things that you sort of struggled with that were just absolutely massive turning points in your career?
My career was marked by working in various types of finance. So within finance also there are various fields. So I was on the middle side in Deloitte and Touche. I was on the buy side in Brand Capital. I was on the sell side in MTS, and was finally a CFO. So I struggled because for me, every job I was taking up was at a middle level management position, but at the same time, I had no experience about it. So I had to protect my respect with juniors, with seniors, and protect the job as well. And so, I was always on a high learning curve. I kept on studying, I kept on reading, I kept on asking people stupid questions. And once I started my own company, then I realized that my calling is to help companies with a number of ways, and that's what my calling is. And I love venture capital. Initially, in venture capital, I struggled again for 2 years because it was a new field for me, and I had to build relationships totally afresh with the venture capital funds and the angel investors. And but it has been such a beautiful journey. I've met people who who are struggling, but at the same time, the struggle is a way of life, and they take it as a hustle. So they keep on hustling. They keep on trying, and uh, over the years, once I see a startup founder, and I there is something in me which tells me this guy will make it big. And that's the way I have put in my money on people. I have actually put in money in companies where once I met the founder, I was like, this guy is amazing. So I'll give you an example. There is this guy who's very young. He did his aviation engineering from Moscow in Russia. He came back to India and he became the CEO of a aviation academy which was being set up. Now he needed a lot of government clearances, and he was so young, he didn't know anybody. So people used to tell him that, we will connect you to the government, we will connect you to the civil aviation minister, and you pay us 2% once the deal goes through. You pay us 1%, you pay us 3%. But he was not able to. But this guy, he doesn't give up. So he went to the political constituency of the minister, met the party head there, had a nice little dinner with him, and in 2 days he was sitting with the civil aviation minister. So there are people like that. They are so young, but they don't give up. They see a yes in a maybe, and they see a maybe in a no. So that's the beauty of this field.
I love it. It must be so great as well to see that passion and that enthusiasm. Because one of the things I learned over the years was that you can that you should recruit for will and train for skill. Because actually, you can have somebody who's the most skilled in the world, but if they've not got that mindset, they've not got that motivation, that passion, that desire, they're not usually going to end up being that effective for you. Is that something that you look for when you're looking at investments and the person you're going to invest in?
I look at the founder first, but what happens is the business is very volatile. Nowadays commodity prices move up, crypto prices move up and down. Entire sectors get closed because of things like COVID. Uh, Sometimes a company recruits 10,000 people. In the next 2 years, it is retrenching 5,000 of them. So we are living in very uncertain times, and so a person needs to have a certain skill set beyond technical knowledge to survive in today's times. And that skill set is to hunt for opportunities all the time and without assuming anything. And we have, I'll give you an example. uh, the prices of commodities move up and down, and within commodities, some commodities are cyclical. So they will rise for years, then they will fall down for years. And at these times, the businesses have to plan a lot better than usual times. So what happens is, those people who planned better, who managed their costs, who didn't recruit without thinking, who were very conscious of the markets, those people survive.
Yeah.
And many of them who are just not doing it without putting mind to it, they fall by the wayside. And what to say of senior management positions in companies. Even a small startup faces these headwinds every single day.
Mhm.
And there is a research which says that 90 to 92% of the startups who get early stage financing don't get follow on financing. So,
Wow.
even after getting funded, coming on newspapers, cheering the $2 million you got, later on, you are probably in a situation where either you have to pivot to a new business model, or you have to close the business. So,
Right.
so it's we are living in very uncertain times. We have Lehman crisis affecting the whole world. Now, COVID has impacted the whole world. But the common theme is the march of technology, the march of venture capital, the march of hustlers. Those are the common themes for me.
Yeah.
Right. So, in your opinion, what are the hurdles that keep people away from starting an entrepreneurial career?
So everybody looks. Maybe it's an Indian thing. I don't know. So families, they always tell their children that the safest thing to do is to get a good education and then join a good salaried job. And take the best education and join a job. So they feel that this is the safest. But they don't realize is that these modern times, job security is a four-letter word. There is no job security. So, the earlier you advise your children to be ready to live in uncertain times and to upskill and cross skill yourself. The good part about the times we are living in is that knowledge is free. You have Google on your side. So whatever I studied till now in my entire life, or I will study in the future, it's already there on Google, or it is there as some beautiful 2 to 3 months kind of video based course on any website, which is available for very cheap. So, if you are willing to upskill yourself and cross skill yourself, then you won't look back, and always keep on learning. So, these are the things which you look at. I keep on telling a lot of startup founders, either build a career in finance, managing money, or build a career in technology. But uh, technology changes every 4 months. So you have to upskill yourself, you have to cross skill yourself. And secondly, when it comes to managing money, again, you might be the best fund manager in on Wall Street. You might be the best out there, but you will face the vagaries of the market, and nobody is perfect. And even the best fund managers, they have to bow down to the markets. So it needs more of a spiritual and and mind oriented strength than just technical skills. And that's what we have to be very aware about.
That's so true. It's so important, isn't it, that we get our mind in the right place. And we were chatting about that briefly, weren't we, before we came on, which is often it's what we are telling ourselves, or how we're thinking, or how we're framing a situation, that actually can be the difference between being really successful or it not going our way. So what do you do if to get your mindset in the right space?
Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Kim. Sorry for that very lovely question. I unwind myself by shutting myself out from the smartphone and shutting myself out from any kind of screen. And then I no music, no multimedia, only silence. And I keep on observing what my mind is doing. And the mind is so naughty, it's like a monkey. So it will keep on think about that particular thing you ate, or think about that deal, or think about how your son is not studying properly. So it will keep on throwing you things to engage yourself. So you have to observe that, and the more you become experienced about observing your mind, the more you'll be able to handle the mind. And you can't really shut it off, because the moment you think of something, like you tell yourself, I don't have to think about this, the very same moment you will think about that thing only. So meditation, in simple words, and reading a lot of spiritual literature, and keeping away from people for at least half an hour every day. So these are the three things I practice every day.
I think that's so important, isn't it, to find that time to focus? And we are so easily distracted
Half
now.
an hour, just half an hour every day.
Well, that's, you can find that, can't you? We can think of a million reasons why we can't, but actually switching off the phone and just being present.
There is another, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're okay.
There is another way, which is amongst nature. If you are amongst nature, and you can actually feel the silence in between, the way trees make a noise, the way birds make a noise. So that is taking a walk besides a lake, and sitting, watching the rain, just for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 1 hour or half an hour. So that does wonders and makes you feel actually that you are a creature of nature, more than a creature of digital world.
That's
Very much.
such great advice, because we do
Very
have to be mindful, don't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what are the services that you guys provide over at Consultancy Ventures, and what are you most excited about working on at the moment?
Uh, we provide documentation services like creating a pitch deck, doing the valuation of the company, also making a business plan, which is a project report. We also help in the term sheet negotiation with the investors and the due diligence process which happens on the company. And we also help in the finalization of the shareholders agreement, which gets signed between the investor and the startup. And so we help across a number of ways. We handhold startups as to how to answer investors, how to present themselves. And off recently, I'm working on three beautiful startups, those who have created lovely technology. For example, there is a robotics company here. It has created four types of robots. Now, if you see the cleaning of the municipal lines, the where the slush goes, it is being done by humans a number of times. So the Supreme Court of India has banned use of manual labor for cleaning of the sewer lines, municipal sewer lines. So this company has brought out a robo which does robotic scavenging. And it will be used in a massive scale, because this company's robos are 90% cheaper than the American Germ Falcon company robos. And they perform the same kind of job. They are very sturdy. So that is one startup. The second one is a startup. So India has 700 million smartphones. 700 million people use smartphones, but there are around 200 million people who use feature phones. Feature phones are without internet. So this particular company I'm talking about, they have created a way to execute banking transactions on feature phones without the use of internet. And you can actually
Yeah.
transfer your money. You can check your account balance. You can do a lot of banking transactions without the use of internet. And that is simply beautiful, because you are reaching out to the bottom of the pyramid people. And you are empowering them in a way, and incentivizing them to learn technology. And the third is a startup which is a business process outsourcing company. They take care of their employees like anything. 52% of their employees are women. 75% of their employees are coming from economically weaker sections of the society. And almost 15% of their employees didn't clear class 12th. So they actually used their own money to upskill them, to cross skill them, and then recruited them. And during the time of COVID, they haven't retrenched even a single person. So, so these are the three companies I feel very excited about. Of course, I get technology companies every single day which excite me, and which I feel, I there is this 19-year-old boy who has 15 employees, and he's doing a turnover of $100,000. So I keep on thinking, at the age of 19, when I was 19, there were no smartphones. And, so it was a totally different world. And this guy, he's in a technology business at the age of 19 and doing a turnover of $100,000. So it just amazes me a lot.
Yeah. It's great though, isn't it, to see that innovation and to see it at such a young age that he's not going to let the world stop him. He's got an idea and he's out there willing to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's very bright, and people make use of the fact that he's very intelligent and bright. But at the same time, He's very gullible. So one of the sheikhs, who's a rich man from the Middle East, called him. He said that I want to get my documentation done. How much will you charge? And before this guy could think of the fact that he's a sheikh and he's actually a rich guy from Middle East, uh, this sheikh said, "Don't quote me a price for which I'll have to take a loan from a bank." And this guy believed him. He said, "Oh, this guy, he if I quote him too much, he just quoted him the lowest." And later on, he checked on Google. This guy is like $500 million guy. So
They say that's how the rich get rich, isn't it? That they watch the pennies and the pounds
Absolutely.
about themselves.
That's
So,
classic. So on to our last question. How do founders and new entrepreneurs get in touch with you? How do they reach you? And are they just people from India, or is it a global business that you guys are running here?
So, almost 60% of my deals are global. I'm doing a blockchain-based technology company from Israel. I'm doing a milk-based technology company from Singapore, which has intellectual property for their technology. I'm doing a augmented reality and virtual reality AR VR company from Australia. And so actually I do global because more than 70% of the relationships I have are global. Having said that, I'm sitting in India, so definitely I get a lot of Indian deals as well. So everyone is free to reach out to me by my website, consultancy.com. That's starting with K. And I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you search my name, probably I'll be the only person with that kind of a name. And also through email, TK, that's my initials, at consultancy.com. And happy to help or mentor, or I am actually on the panel of the judges at the top 5 Indian colleges. So I help students in a big way. So please feel free to reach out to me.
That's lovely. We've been very kind. And thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, no, it's been an absolute delight. We've learned so much, and we'll make sure all of those links are included for people as well. So thank you so very much for sharing your time, your experience, and your expertise with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nate. I'm happy I pronounced your name well in the end also. And and thank you so
I'm
much.
sorry.
You both,
I really wouldn't worry. It's okay.
that's being very humble. Thank you so much for.
Thanks for listening to Master Mindset. Please don't forget to follow wherever you listen, and tell your friends. And tell your friends.